You've lost weight before, but you always seem to gain it back. Today, we're diving into the science behind weight maintenance, why 95% of people regain the weight, and most importantly, how to be in the 5% of women who keep it off for the rest of their lives. Welcome to the Fit and Fulfilled Show. If you're a busy professional woman who wants to finally prioritize your health and happiness, this is the place to be. I'm your host, Soraya Russell, certified macronutrition coach, mindset coach, and lifestyle transformation coach. And each week, I share practical strategies to help you build sustainable habits, boost your energy, become obsessed with what you see in the mirror, and feel confident and strong in your body, all without feeling stressed, overwhelmed, or guilty. Let's dive in. So, most of the clients we work with have lost weight before, sometimes a million times over, but no one taught them how to master maintenance. Once they did that, it was much easier to maintain the results while still eating all their favorite foods. So, I want to explain to you how to do this for yourself. So, let's first explore why rebound weight gain happens in the first place. So, studies show that 80 to 95% of dieters regain the weight they lost and sometimes regain even more within 2 years of stopping a diet. This is because your body is basically fighting back biologically. So when you're eating in a calorie deficit, aka you're eating less calories than you burn, aka you're on some sort of restrictive diet, your metabolism severely slows down and you're going to experience an increase in hunger hormones. There's also something called the set point theory where your body has a weight that it's comfortable and familiar with, so it will be fighting to return to that weight. So if you started at, say, 250, you've lost 20 pounds, if you did it in a very extreme or restrictive way, your body's going to try and fight back to get to that 250 because that's where it feels comfortable. Most women know how to diet. They know how to cut calories, eat clean, cut out carbs, but most women don't know what maintenance looks like or how to master it. And that's because the diet industry profits off of you regaining the weight. Think about it. If you were able to lose the weight and maintain it for the rest of your life, a lot of these companies would stop making money off of you. But because they know that crash diets will work for 30, 60, 90 days, but you'll regain it, they know you're going to come back as a new customer and they'll make even more money off of you, maybe even for the rest of your life because you'll constantly be losing and gaining the weight. So we want to get outside of that diet mentality and learn how to get to where we want to be and maintain it so we're not constantly shelling out money and time on companies that are not invested in our long-term success. So let's dive into the first thing you need to do to maintain weight loss. So there's something called reverse dieting, which is basically known as metabolic recovery. This is where you slowly increase your calories back to maintenance so you don't experience a bunch of rebound weight and are able to eat more food while maintaining your goal weight. The reason you can't just go back to eating normally again after diet is because your metabolism has down-regulated to conserve energy. So by going from eating, say, 1,200 calories if you're on a diet to 2,000, you're going to experience weight gain, your body's going to be very confused, and it's just going to cause a lot of issues with your metabolism and how your body operates. Also, something you have to recognize, which this is a positive thing, is that your maintenance calories have decreased. So say that you started at 250 pounds and you got to 150 and you want to maintain it. At 250 pounds, maybe your maintenance calories, how much to eat to maintain that 250 was 2,500 calories, right? But now that you're 150 pounds, maybe your new maintenance calories are 2,000 calories to maintain that new weight of 150. And so you basically have to understand that new maintenance number because that's the number you're wanting to get to maintain that new weight of 150 pounds without regaining any of the weight that you lost. Remember that your metabolism has a memory, but you can teach it new tricks. So by slowly reversing your calories up to your new maintenance calories, you can recover your metabolic rate. So here's how to actually go about reverse dieting, aka slowly increasing your calories back to maintenance. So say that right now you were eating in a calorie deficit to lose weight. Say that, for example, you were eating 1,500 calories. Every 2 weeks, you want to increase this amount of calories by 50 to 100. So say in 2 weeks, you want to be eating 1,550 calories. Then 2 weeks later, you want to be eating 1,600 calories. And you're basically wanting to reverse your calories back to your new maintenance level. So let's talk about this with an example. Say that you started at 250 pounds and now you're 200. Maybe at 250 pounds, you could eat 2,500 calories and maintain that weight. Now that you're at 200 pounds, you can eat 2,000 calories and maintain that weight. However, you've been eating in a deficit, so you are currently eating 1,500 calories. So to maintain our new weight of 200 pounds, we need to go from 1,500 calories to 2,000 calories to maintain our weight of 200 pounds. So if you're currently eating 1,500 calories, 2 weeks from now, 1,550. 2 weeks from now, 1,600. And keep increasing your calories gradually till you get back to 2,000 calories. And you might be wondering if you're familiar with macros. Macros are protein, fat, and carbs. Soraya, okay, if I'm increasing my calories every 2 weeks, how much of that calorie should be protein, fat, carbs? You want to alternate between increasing fat and carbs. You want to keep your protein about where it is. So in 2 weeks from now, when you're increasing 50 calories, make that all fat. The next 2 weeks after, make it carbs, et cetera, et cetera. And if this sounds overcomplicated or overwhelming, there's a simple way to do this. So in our coaching program, when our clients get to the point where they want to maintain their weight, we have a sheet that we program because I am a nerd. I love creative stuff, but I'm also like a spreadsheet nerd at heart. So we programmed a sheet where basically we plug in their current calories and macros, and the sheet will automatically calculate every 2 weeks how many calories, macros they need to be eating. So there's not any manual thinking about, okay, how much do I eat this week or this week? It'll automatically show our clients, okay, if you're starting right here, every 2 weeks, this is how much you should be eating. And it shows them what they're eating should look like every single week until they reach maintenance. So it's basically all done for them. They don't have to think about any of the numbers. So if that's something you want access to because you want to learn how to master maintenance, it's something we provide for our clients inside of our coaching program. And you can learn more about that down below. You also want to monitor your body's responses. It is normal to experience a little bit of weight fluctuation when you are reversing, but no more than about 2 pounds. If you find that you're gaining 5, 10 pounds by reversing, you're probably doing something wrong. So just monitor that as you're reversing back to maintenance. Remember, the goal of this is to restore your metabolism while eating as much as you can and maintaining your goal weight. So recently I posted this on Threads, but full transparency, I don't share my weight often because I don't want anyone to compare themselves to me. But I am 5'2", 118 pounds, and I eat 2,000 calories a day and over 200 grams of carbs. And whenever I tell people that, they're like, how do you eat that much food? You're so tiny. It's because I purposely worked on building my metabolism. When you focus on metabolism building, you can eat a lot of food and still maintain your dream body. What most women do is they cut their calories as low as possible, they stay there, they damage their metabolism, and then they can't lose any more weight even though they're eating so little food. That's not the goal. We help our clients eat as much as possible while losing weight, getting to their goal, and maintaining it while still eating as much as possible. So that is really the goal if you want to lose weight and keep it off long term. So a full metabolic reset can take anywhere between 3 to 6 months. And what I mean by this is it's not 3 to 6 months to get towards your goal weight. Once you hit your goal weight, it can take about 3 to 6 months to get back to maintenance calories. So this is good. This means you're spending 3 to 6 months gradually eating more food while still maintaining your dream body. So I just want to make expectations clear. That way you're not going from eating 1,500 to 2,000 really quickly. You're slowly increasing your calories. Your body's getting used to those new calories. You're boosting your metabolism and maintaining your dream body while eating more food. Like, who does not want that? So quick story I want to share with you. So we had a client who lost 20 pounds 3 different times over. Once with Weight Watchers, second time with keto, third time without Tapia. And she was extremely frustrated because she would lose the weight, get a bunch of compliments, people would tell her she looks so great, but then she would experience the embarrassment and shame that came with regaining the weight and people basically judging her or her feeling like she was being judged. Because it's always like, if you lose weight and regain it, I think that that's worse than not losing it at all because you experience what it's like to be at that healthier weight and getting the compliments and the attention, but then going back to your old reality because you weren't able to maintain it. So when she came to us, she had regained that 20 pounds. We helped her lose the 20 pounds inside of our program. Then we taught her maintenance mastery. She's maintained that 20-pound weight loss for over 6 months. And now everyone's asking her, hey, how did you lose that weight while eating all this food? Like you're still at brunch, you're still eating pizza in the office, you're still eating good food for lunch. Like, what are you doing differently than the other times? And so now she's the go-to person where everyone wants to know what she's doing, which feels really good. So this is why maintenance mastery is a really important skill that you need to know if you want to achieve and maintain your goal weight. The second thing you need to do if you want to maintain your goal weight is change your relationship with food. You will not maintain your weight loss if you have a toxic or negative relationship with food. You must be able to eat everything in moderation without guilt, shame, or fear, because if not, you'll get towards your goal weight. Then you'll feel like, okay, I can just do whatever I want now. You'll be winging it. You'll be at social events overeating, and slowly over time, you will start to regain that weight and get right back to where you started because you don't know how to eat fun foods in moderation without overindulging. It's what I call the restrict binge cycle, where you go on a strict diet, you're very regimented, you're very on it, you're competitive, you lose the weight, but then once you get there, you just start binging, going overboard, you don't have any self-control. You're constantly existing in extremes. Either you're on an extreme diet or you're extremely winging it, like I like to say. Your relationship with food is like your maintenance insurance policy. So, what that means is if you have a healthy relationship with food, you're insured in knowing that you're going to maintain those results because you can eat the salad, right? Which is fine, but you can also eat one cookie and not feel the need to have four. You can have two slices of pizza and not feel the need to eat five. And another part of this relationship with food is emotional eating. So you need healthy coping mechanisms to handle stress, sadness, boredom. Because I find women, when they're in a season of life where they're really locked in, nothing really bad is happening, they can be very focused and lose weight. But anytime stress hits or boredom or loneliness hits, they completely fall off the wagon because they turn to food to solve those problems, even though it doesn't. So you want to focus on implementing the 80-20 rule. What this means is on a regular basis, 80% of your foods should come from whole foods. Think things like vegetables, fruit, whole grains, lean proteins. And then 20% fun foods. Think things like fries, pizza, cookies, brownies, ice cream. This 80-20 rule is very important because that 80% will make you more satiated. You'll be more comfortably full, satisfied, you won't be hungry. And then 20% make sure that you don't feel restricted or deprived. You don't feel like, okay, I'm technically full, but I want a brownie and I can't have it, right? It creates the room for you to still enjoy life and enjoy food, but making sure you're also fueling your body properly. And you really want to reframe your inner dialogue. So when someone has a negative relationship with food, I find they say things like, oh, I can't have that. That food makes me fat. That food's not good for me. And so when you speak about foods that you actually like that way, it gives you this confusing sense of being because you're like, wait, I really like these things, but they're bad for me. And it's very contradicting. So you're just like, well, what does that mean about me if I like something, but it's bad for me? So you want to change your language to be very neutral. So if you overate one day, it's not like I ate bad today. I ate more than usual today. If you're eating pizza instead of a salad, you don't have to beat yourself up about eating the pizza. The pizza is still fueling your body, right? It's just different than a salad. You also want to learn to trust and listen to your body's natural hunger and fullness cues. So take time to listen and say, okay, I'm hungry. It's time to eat. Eat slowly. Put your fork down between bites. Eat uninterrupted. And that way, when you're comfortably full, you can stop eating, even if there's still food on your plate. A lot of us are taught when we're younger to finish our plate, but many times the plates we're eating have way too much food on them. So when instead you focus on listening to your body's natural hunger cues and making space for that, you can determine when you're actually full and you can stop eating right there. Remember that the relationship you have with food during weight loss is going to be the same relationship you have with food during maintenance. So if you restrict during weight loss, you're going to restrict during maintenance, and at some point, that's not going to work out. Restricting yourself for a 3-month time period when you're dieting, yeah, maybe you can do that. But restricting for life, it ain't happening. So you want to focus on what's sustainable with your relationship with food because that's what's going to carry over long term. The third thing you want to do is shift from a diet mindset to a lifestyle mindset. Diets end, but your lifestyle is forever. Maintenance means that these new habits become your new normal. A lot of think that maintenance is a destination. It is a skill. You have to learn the skill of living at your goal weight while still being able to enjoy life and being flexible. Many people don't master this, which is why they're constantly on this diet roller coaster. Flexibility prevents rebellion. I don't know about you, but when I was younger, if there was rules in place, I'd rebel against them. I didn't like structure and rules. I wanted to do my own thing. And if you're a rebellious person like me, when you create very strict, rigid rules with no flexibility, you will also rebel against them. So build in flexibility. If that means during the holidays, things look a bit different. During vacation, things look a bit different. That's fine. You still want to have your minimum viable habits. That could be walking every day. having a high protein breakfast, but make certain things flexible so you don't feel like a failure when you're not doing everything perfectly. Something else that's very important is identity shifts. You want to shift your identity from someone who's on a diet to someone who lives a healthy lifestyle. When I was on my weight loss journey, I focused more on identity than behaviors because when you change your identity, behaviors follow. If your identity is someone who lives a healthy lifestyle, you'll consistently live a healthy lifestyle. But if you just focus on things like eating clean, going to the gym, when that's not innately who you are, you'll do it sometimes and other times you won't do it. So really focus on identity. Who do I want to become? Versus just what do I want to do. Overall, you want to remember that you're not trying to maintain a diet. You're not even trying to maintain your body. You're trying to maintain a way of life because when you maintain that way of life, you also maintain the body. You also maintain the healthy habits. One thing is overarching, the other things are underneath. So focus on the overarching theme instead of the small, minute details. The fourth thing you want to focus on is the non-negotiable habits for long-term success. So you want to have the pillars of things that you do pretty consistently to maintain your results long term. One of the things you want to focus on is finding daily movement that you actually enjoy. For example, every day you go for a walk, a dance in your living room, a bike ride, something. I'm really big on finding forms of movement that you enjoy. Not every form of movement you're going to enjoy, but find at least one that you do. For example, for me, I lift weights 3 times a week, but that's just kind of something I do because I'm disciplined. But something I really enjoy is playing tennis. So recently I joined a tennis club. I play once a week. I also joined a run club, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't like running that much, but it's nice for the social aspect. So I do that once a week with my friends. So find things that you want to do. That could be joining some sort of club that does it together. It could be you doing it solo, but that helps make movement a natural part of your lifestyle that you look forward to. The second thing I really recommend implementing long term is strength training. Even if it's not your favorite form of movement, it's the most efficient for maintaining a lean, toned body because strength training helps you build and retain muscle. More muscle leads to a faster metabolism. And if you maintain a faster metabolism, you can eat more food and maintain your weight, which we all want. So I recommend lifting weights 3 to 4 times per week. 45 minutes to an hour is all you need. You can do it at home, at the gym. Even if you just want to do 2 days a week, something to just maintain that muscle mass is going to be very important, especially if you're a woman over 35. If you're perimenopausal, menopausal, postmenopausal, you definitely want to prioritize strength training. You also want to stay consistent with having some sort of meal plan. You don't have to do the traditional meal prep 7 days a week of the same thing. But you want to consistently have a plan for food because, as you know, when you wing it, when you don't have a plan, that's when you start to go back to your old habits and just eat whatever is available versus eating in accordance with your goals. So just make sure each week you have some sort of planning system, whether that's spending Friday planning your meals, Saturday doing your grocery shopping, Sunday making the food, whatever that looks like for you, just have a system. I also recommend having some sort of professional support during transitions to maintenance because a lot of the things I'm sharing, this is the stuff that you need to do, but without professional help, it can feel a bit overwhelming doing it, especially reversing back to maintenance. The concept makes sense, but doing it practically can feel like a lot without help. So definitely recommend having a coach or someone to support you to slowly reverse back to maintenance to speed up that metabolism. And you also want to surround yourself with people who are on the same page. I really believe that if you show me the 5 people you spend the most time with, I can tell pretty much very instantly what your habits look like. So if all your friends, their only version of having fun is going out to brunch, getting bottomless mimosas, getting drunk, and then going home, that's probably what you do for fun too. But if your friends like to eat, you go to brunch, but then you go for a walk afterwards. Maybe you go to skate night. Maybe you go for a weekend hike. That tells me that you live a pretty active and balanced lifestyle. So I'm not telling you to ditch your friends, but keep the friends that you have, but also look to be a part of communities where people are more active. Like I said, I recently joined a run club, a tennis club. So those circles of people keep me active. I told you I don't like running, but a couple months ago, I did a 10K. I never would sign up for a 10K by myself. But because I'm in a run club with people who like to run, they all wanted to run a 10K, right? So things like that keep me active and doing different things because I'm around people who are active and enjoy those types of things. The fifth thing you want to do is learn to navigate life's changes and challenges without derailing your progress. So plan for the not normal things, vacations, holidays, birthday parties, weddings. What will your plan look like when occasions like that come up? Because it's not going to look like it typically does during a week when nothing is going on. And when you experience things like this, like say a wedding, you want to plan to get back on track within 24 hours. So what I see a lot of people do is they go on vacation, maybe for 3 days. They get back. It takes them 5 days to get back on track. No. When you come back from vacation, 24-hour reset. When you have a wedding the day before and it's the next day, 24-hour reset. That could look like getting up and going for a morning walk, having a protein-packed breakfast, getting your groceries from the store. But don't wait weeks or even days to get back on track because that's going to lead to you staying off track for a longer period of time. And you want to learn how to enjoy special celebrations and holidays without completely getting off track. So something that my family started doing recently is we always do Thanksgiving dinner. And what we started doing a couple years ago is we would go for a walk around the neighborhood before eating. So typically we're just sitting around and then we eat, then we drink and we go home, which is fun. But I think it's really great to combine movement with food whenever possible, especially when you can bring other people around. So Thanksgiving, before we eat, we'll go walk around the neighborhood with all the kids and all the adults. Then we'll come back, say our prayers, and then eat. So it's a great way to combine movement and eating. And that way you're kind of creating new habits that work during the holidays. Something else we do around Christmas time too is we'll go for a hike on Christmas Day or the day after, as well as opening gifts and eating Christmas dinner. So know that during the holidays, you don't have to just either be on track or off track. You can create new routines and traditions with your family so you're still able to combine movement and eating and still eat in moderation. Remember that maintenance is not perfection, it's consistency over time. And consistency can still be going on a walk around the neighborhood and then eating Thanksgiving dinner. It can be running a 5K with your family, then eating Christmas dinner, right? Those things are still considered consistency with flexibility. So here are some common mistakes to avoid when you're trying to maintain your goal weight. The first thing is going right back to your old patterns as soon as you get to your goal weight. If you've done this before, you've seen the impact. It leads to gradual weight gain over time. And I know it can be hard because it's like, well, I feel like I shouldn't be eating this amount of food forever. So I revert back and I don't know where that happy medium is. And that's why we discuss reverse dieting. But don't just think, oh, I got here, let me celebrate and just do whatever I did before, because doing what you did before is going to lead to the weight that you were before. And that's not what you want. Mistake number 2 is abandoning all structure because you made it. The structure that got you here is the same structure that's going to keep you here. If you're working out 3 times per week for 45 minutes, keep working out 3 times per week. If you are meal prepping on Sunday, keep meal prepping on Sunday. If you're walking every day, keep walking every single day. So while you can eat more and retain your weight, the habits and the structure that you had in place, you want to maintain those long term. Mistake number 3 is trying to maintain without guidance. Like I said, most women are not taught how to maintain weight. It's a completely different skill than losing weight. And so when you just try to go back to what you're eating before or stay in a calorie deficit, it's not going to work. Your metabolism is going to slow down. Your body's going to be confused. And so I highly recommend working with a coach or professional to slowly increase back to maintenance and learn how to maintain your goal weight. And if that's something you want help with, then you could learn more about our coaching program down below. Mistake number 4 is panicking over normal weight fluctuations. Gaining, losing 2 to 5 pounds is normal. So for me, for example, I have kind of a middle point that's typically where my weight stands, and it's either a little bit below that or a little bit above that. Nothing wrong with that. During different seasons, your weight can fluctuate. Just know that it'll be within a range because what happens is some women panic when they've gained 2 pounds back and their habits have not changed. Nothing wrong with that. That's normal. It's going to go away over time as the seasons change. So don't panic over a small weight loss or weight gain. If it's between 2 to 5 pounds, you're still good to go. Going off of that, mistake number 5 is using restriction to fix small gains. So say that you gained 2 pounds in a period of a month. You might say, okay, I'm going to go back to cutting calories super low and doing something extreme to get this 2 pounds off. Once again, you're going back to the diet mentality instead of the lifestyle mentality. If you gain 2 pounds and it's simply just because of the fluctuations of life, don't do anything about it. But if you gain 2 pounds, maybe because you were a little off track, just go back to your normal lifestyle changes, your normal structure, and that 2 pounds will fall back off. Remember that maintenance is a skill that must be learned if you want to achieve and maintain your goal weight. If you want to be in the 5% of women who keep the weight off for the rest of your life, this skill is essential for you to master. You deserve to keep your results. So don't let poor maintenance planning rob you of all the hard work that you've put in. So thank you so much for tuning in to the Fit and Fulfilled show today. I hope you walked away with practical strategies you can start implementing right away to feel more confident, energized, and fulfilled. And if you found this helpful in absolutely any way, I ask that you please subscribe and share with a friend who might find this helpful so they can start implementing these strategies as well. And if you want to lose 20 to 50 pounds, love what you see when you look in the mirror, and fit back into your favorite clothes without cutting out your favorite foods, then I invite you to apply for our coaching program, the Fit and Fulfilled Academy. This is where we help busy professional women like you by providing the personalized guidance, support, and coaching that you need with nutrition, fitness, and mindset to achieve lasting weight loss results. All the details are down below. Next week, we're diving into a brand new topic that you're not going to want to miss. But until then, remember you deserve to feel as confident in your body as you do in your career. Take care.